Hello, my ICT students. This is going to be your first video on learning how to do letters. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the data in just to the length of time that I'm allowed to record. So I'm going to have the data brought in, and then I'll go over the parts of the letter with you. So go to File, and go to Open, and go to Browse. And now go to your Classes Drive. So I'm going to go to my Classes Drive. And we want to go to Documents for Teaching. So we want to go to ICT. We want to go to Teaching Documents. And we want the one Data for Porter Letter. Oh, I see there's a mistake in here. I'm just going to right click and rename it right now. You can watch here. And 4. F-O-R. Alright, so I renamed it. Now, Data for the Porter Letter. And I'm going to open it up. So here's the data that we have. So first thing we're doing is going to go File, Save As, and we're going to go to Browse, and we're going to go to your U drive, ICTA slot 4, and we're going to go to, and I haven't got a folder there, so I'm going to right click and go to New Folder, and we're going to call this Letters, L-E-T-T-E-R-S, and press Enter. So I want to go to my Letters folder. And now, click in the file name box, press Home, and I want you to take out the data for. We don't need to have that there. And now I want you to put in your first name and the current date, and whichever is current for you. And so mine will say Lee, October 7, Porter Letter, Save. Okay, now here when we see a letter, you see the blue here, and it's just because it's complaining that this is a colon and we didn't put bullets here. It's all as one, but that's all right. Don't worry about it. Okay, when you write a letter, the first thing you must do is put in the date. Now, you never type in the date. You always go Insert, and you go to Date and Time, and you've already done this, so you know how to do it. The third date. Now, a letter is a legal document. You cannot say update automatically because, as I say, the letter can be used as a legal document and must have a permanent date on there. So you just say OK. And then after your date, you press Enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more is 5. Okay, so this counts as 1. This counts as 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you do a letter, you have to have a top margin. So this will be maybe one of the first times you've come here. Layout, and you're going to go to Margins, and you're going to go down to Custom Margins. All right, the top margin has to be at 2.5. The reason for this is that the letterhead designers are allowed 2 inches to design a letterhead, and then your date goes a ½ inch below. If there's no letterhead, as there is in this letter, then your top margin is 2.5. Press your Tab key, and this automatically is blue, so now your bottom margin is 0.5. And say OK. Alright, so your date there is at 2.5. You've come down 5, as we talked about. Now, here, when you would be keying it in, you would press Enter twice here after the address, and this is called your salutation, and then you press Enter twice. Then you're typing paragraph 1, and you press Enter twice. And paragraph 2, Enter twice. And note, you do not press Enter at the end of a line. That's incorrect. You only press Enter at the end of a paragraph. All right, and then 2 before your last paragraph, and 2 before sincerely. Sincerely is known as your closing, and then you have to leave space for the person to sign their name. So we're going to go down 5, and so the total here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and then you have the person who wrote the letter, you have their position, and the initials of who typed the letter. Well, I'm the typist of this letter, so I'm going to put in LM. You would put in your own initials. And that's how you set up a letter. Nothing else. Top margin here, 2.5. The letter address, this is the letter address, who it's going to. This is the salutation, in other words, the greeting line. These are your paragraphs. And then you have your closing, sincerely, the person who wrote the letter, their position, and your initials as the typist of the letter. Ray Whitman wrote this letter, but you typed it. All right, so let's save that. Go Control S to save. Now, one other thing that you're going to start to learn about is that you're going to learn about putting in a non-breaking space. You see this circle right here? You can see it. Now, this is an ordinary space like that. That means that the 12 can be in one part of the line, the 3 zeros could be on the other part of the line. So you put in a non-breaking space, and that means Control Shift spacebar. And now that number cannot break up. And the same thing here with 12 months. Now, maybe I can show you this one. Okay, there you see it. 12 on here and months here. You wouldn't do that. You would take out this space and you would put in a non-breaking space so that you have 12 months and they would be kept together as a non-breaking space. The same thing here when you do a hyphen, or this is a dash. Control Shift hyphen hyphen. That is a dash. Okay. All right. So let's save that. Now what we're going to do is that this has already been saved. Now we're going to save it with a different name. So you're going to go to File and you're going to go Save As. All right. And we're going to go to Browse and we're going to go to your U Drive ICTA letters. And this time you see your name, but you're going to click in the file name box and you're going to put in a 2 and say revised. So the first letter is Porter letter with nothing in it. The second one is Porter letter 2 revised. All right, what I want you to learn how to do here is put shapes in. Now, you've kind of started with shapes a little bit, so you have an idea. So you're going to go to Insert, you're going to go to Shapes, and down here in the callouts, you have the square edges, the rounded edges, the balloon type, and the cloud type. Those are the 4 that I'm going to have you work with. So we're going to click on this one, and we're going to right-click like that. And we're going to type in their current date. All right, and did you notice that it came in Times New Roman? So we're going to go to Home, and we're going to go to Calibri, change it to Calibri, and it says current date. Now watch. You can grab this yellow circle, and you can go all the way around so that you can move it wherever you want. And I want to say current date. Now, you can also size the box, okay? So we don't want to take up any more room than what we have to. Now, what I want you to do is every time you do one of these shapes, you're going to do something different. So we're going to go to Format, and you're going to go to Shape Fill, and you just say plainly, I want a different fill. All right? So choose anything that you want. Maybe I'll go with orange, all right? And then I want you to go to Shape Outline and go to Weight. And I want you to choose a weight that we can see, 1.5 or 2.5. I want to be able to see the weight. And we want a Shape Outline color. Doesn't matter to me what color you choose, but choose a color that can be seen. Okay, so that's one way of doing that, all right? So click off and go Control S to save. All right, we're going to do another one. We're going to go to Insert, we're going to go to Shapes, and we're going to go to this shape. Now watch. Click, hold, and draw, and do you see the rounded corners? Here we had square corners. Here you see rounded corners, okay? All right, now I can see that this paragraph symbol is already Times New Roman, so we want Calibri, okay? So choose Calibri. All right, so in this one here, we're going to type in the words letter, address. Okay, and I'm going to put a capital A there, so I'll go Shift F3. And I'm going to size it down like we did the last time because we only need so much space. And this time, for the fill, I don't want to use a color. I want you to go to a texture. Now, you got a whole bunch of textures here, so you can choose anything that you like. Now, I'm going to change my font color because that doesn't look good. So I'm going to go to Home and I'm going to choose red so that you can see it. And I might even put bold on that just so it stands out better. All right, and for my outline color, I'm going to choose, oh, maybe I'll go with red. Okay, and what's my weight? Let's take a look. My weight is 1 point. Maybe I'll go to 2 1/4. Definitely make, or 1 1/2. Maybe I'll go with 1 1/2. Show you something different. Okay, so now I want to put this down here to point to my letter address. And let's go Control S to save. So that's a texture fill. Now what we want to do is I want to put another shape in. Insert, Shapes. And I want to go to the balloon. All right, and it'll look like this. And again, you can move it around. Okay, so first of all, I want to make it Calibri. And I want to put in here Salutation. Okay, and this time I want to go to Format, Shape Fill, and I want to go to no, I don't want to go to gradient. I'll go to picture. Now, picture's hard to work with, but we'll go pick out a picture. So let's search for a picture, and I'm going to say flowers and see what it comes up with. Okay, now the flowers are hard to see. I'll maybe go with this one. Insert. All right, so do you see how I put the flower in there? Now, I think the white font is likely the best. That's fine. And now let's get an outline that we can see. So I'm going to go to weight, 2 1/4, and I want to choose a color here, something to go with. Maybe I'll go with purple because it goes with the pink. All right, I want to get my 4-headed arrow, and I want to drag it down here because I want to point to the salutation. Again, I'm going to make it skinnier so that I've got room there and pointing to the salutation or the greeting line, Mr. Porter. Okay, we've got to do one more here. We're going to go to Insert, Shapes, and this time I want you to use the bubble. Now watch, okay, and do you see it there? And now do you see here? You can stretch out the bubbles, okay? Put them anywhere you want. Stretch out the bubbles. All right, we want to go to Home here, go to Calibri, and we're going to type Closing. All right, and now we want to put a gradient in this one. So go to Format, and you're going to go to Shape Fill, and you're going to go to Gradient. Actually, one of these will work quite nice. So whichever one you want to put in it, that's fine with me. Size it down like I showed you. Okay, and then we're going to bring it down, and you drag it down, and you want to point to the closing line here. Oh, it jumped back up on me. Okay, coming down. And there we want to point to our closing. All right, so that is how you put in shapes. So it doesn't matter to me which shape you use. Now, why did this wipe out? Okay, there. Doesn't matter to me which shape you use, the square one, the round corner, but I want you to use a variety, okay? I do want you to use a variety, and I want you to use a variety of fills, okay? So gradient, a picture, a texture, and just a color fill. So that's what you're going to do in this letter. But I'm going to have to end here because I'm out of time. So I'll finish this off in part 2. So save your work and we'll stop here.